I've been saying it for years. I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar.
Up in time, Clark for the win! Yeah!
She put women's basketball on the international map. She shot jump shots from the logo. She went Steph Curry on women's college basketball.
She go for history!
From snide comments to full-blown rivalries, Caitlin Clark has faced more hate in one rookie season than most players see in a lifetime. But what if we told you there are 7 distinct levels to it, each one more ruthless than the last? This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about envy, power, and what happens when one player threatens to change an entire league. Because every shove, every quote, and every headline tells the same story. How Caitlin Clark became the most talked about, loved, and hated player in women's basketball. Level 1, the casual doubters.
Your only argument for Caitlin is that it would have been a great marketing opportunity and you don't have basketball experience or chemistry with the group listed in your reasoning. I don't want to hear it.
Stephen A., I could actually argue that it hurts the game more if they had given her a roster spot over someone more deserving. Because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their intention, and they're not as talented, we're not putting the best team out there.
Before she even played her first WNBA game, critics said her college game wouldn't translate. Pundits claimed her long-range threes would be useless against faster defenders and stronger players. When Clark debuted with the Indiana Fever in May 2024, social media was flooded with comments like, "She'll get humbled quick." But just weeks later, Clark shattered those expectations, becoming the fastest rookie in WNBA history to reach 200 assists and 300 points. The casual doubters didn't hate her because of who she was. They hated how fast she proved them wrong. Level 2, the eye rollers.
Levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're gonna see it on this side, where you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're gonna come with some grown women that've been playing professional basketball for a long time.
Then came the veterans who didn't openly attack her, but made sure to downplay her rise. Players like Diana Taurasi warned that the reality of the WNBA would hit her hard. Others echoed that Clark needed to earn respect first. Even broadcasters threw shade, saying she was getting too much attention too soon. What these comments really revealed was discomfort. Clark wasn't just bringing eyes to the league, she was rewriting its hierarchy overnight. Every highlight, every sold-out arena, every ESPN headline reminded the veterans that the WNBA now revolved around a rookie. Level 3, the gatekeepers.
This isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay. Now we enter the realm of direct hostility. Cheryl Swoops, one of the league's original icons, became the face of this level when she claimed that Clark's stats were inaccurate and that she was being protected by the refs. Her comments ignited a firestorm. Fans accused Swoops of jealousy. Even ESPN hosts like Stephen A. Smith stepped in, calling out the hypocrisy, saying Clark's fame wasn't handed to her, it was earned through performance. Swoops later walked back her remarks, but by then, the damage was done. A clear line had been drawn, the old guard versus the new era. Level 4, the enforcers.
Here's Clark for 29 points, gets tripped up.
This is where the hate turned physical. During a Fever versus Chicago Sky game in June 2024, Chennedy Carter delivered one of the most infamous hits of the season, a blindside body check that sent Clark crashing to the floor. It wasn't a basketball play, it was a statement.
Chennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench. And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter, it happened prior to the inbound. so then anybody can shoot the free throw.
Carter doubled down afterward, refusing to apologize. Her teammate, Dejonai Carrington, mocked Clark online, tweeting, "Beside every flop is a camera." Fans and analysts exploded, with ESPN and social media accusing the WNBA of allowing targeted aggression. The Fever's coach, Stephanie White, called it unacceptable, while other players quietly admitted that Clark was being treated differently. This level was pure intimidation, trying to humble her through pain. Level 5, the rival queens.
People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Enter Angel Reese, Clark's most famous rival. Their rivalry began in college when Reese taunted Clark in the 2023 NCAA championship, a gesture that instantly went viral. Fast forward to the WNBA and every Fever versus. Sky Game became must-watch TV. Reese and Clark embodied opposite energies. Clark, the quiet assassin. Reese, the vocal powerhouse. Reese's post-game interviews added fuel with lines like, "I'm living rent-free."
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all. I don't even think that pays one of my bills. Literally. I'm trying to think of like my rent for where I stay at. Let me do the math real quick.
It might cover that. Yeah, it covers that. It definitely covers that.
What is my, I don't even know my salary. 74? Okay. Times.
Here, I'll do it.
Yeah. I don't even know my salary. Does it? Let me see. You don't even. Yo! I'm living beyond my means. It's like.
Yet behind the theatrics was real competition. Reese fought to prove that her dominance wasn't overshadowed by Clark's fame. Their rivalry pulled record-breaking TV ratings, proving that even hate can drive the league's growth. Level 6, the power players.
You've only played 540 minutes of basketball, and of those 540, 74 have been against Caitlin. You only got 2 flagrants, and they happen to be against Caitlin. I don't think it's coincidence.
Now the hate shifts from individuals to institutions. Throughout Clark's rookie season, referees faced scrutiny for inconsistent officiating. Data showed that Clark absorbed more flagrant fouls than any other rookie, but rarely received calls in her favor. Even Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, faced criticism for using Clark for publicity while failing to protect her. When Clark was left off the Team USA roster for the 2024 Olympics, it sparked national outrage.
Some of us felt like maybe she hadn't proved it in the WNBA, but at this point, she certainly has. So she proved everybody wrong.
What about the guards? Let's talk about the guards that did make it. Talk about the guards that did make it. How they play, Andrea? Because you were one of the ones that say she didn't earn it. How did the guards play that within the Olympics? How did they play?
For sure, but we can't take how Caitlin finished the W season and pivot that to how she would have done in the Olympics. That's a completely different
All I'm
argument.
saying is, look at that point. Look at how she played up until that point. Tracy Gray had only played 1 game before she went to the Olympics. She was outplaying Diana Taurasi. Was she outplaying Diana Taurasi at that point in time that she was on the team? It's a simple yes or a simple no.
Was Caitlin outplaying Diana Taurasi? But you can't just factor in current play, Shannon. That's all I'm saying. You gotta factor in.
Many saw it as the establishment's quiet resistance, a message that fame doesn't buy access to power. Clark stayed silent, saying only, "I'll be cheering them on." But her absence spoke volumes. The league's biggest star was watching from home. Level 7, the Alpha Challenger. Finally, we reached the top. Aja Wilson, the reigning MVP, the face of the Las Vegas Aces, and the symbol of the WNBA's old guard. Wilson's comments about privilege and spotlight during Clark's rise stirred debate. She never mentioned Clark by name, but everyone knew who she meant.
She had this to say about Caitlin Clark, who makes her debut tonight. She said this: Aja Wilson thinks that Caitlin Clark is only popular because she's white. I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. It's really because you can be the top notch at what you do as a black woman, but maybe there's something that people don't want to see, Wilson said to the Associated Press.
When the Fever faced the Aces, Wilson dominated, yet cameras still focused on Clark. That imbalance fueled resentment. Wilson represents the one figure Clark has yet to surpass, the standard of greatness she threatens to replace. But here's the twist. Their rivalry isn't built on hate alone. It's about legacy. Wilson wants to prove her era isn't over. Clark wants to show hers has begun. And that's what makes Level 7 the most powerful form of hate. Respect disguised as resistance. From casual doubt to calculated rivalry, Caitlin Clark's journey through these 7 levels of hate reveals something bigger than basketball. Every shove, every comment, and every snub has built her legend piece by piece. She's been labeled overrated, targeted on the court, mocked by peers, and left out of the biggest stage in the world. But every time she's answered with performance, breaking rookie scoring records, hitting logo threes, and filling arenas that used to be half empty. This hate didn't break her, it branded her. Because the truth is, Caitlin Clark didn't just survive the hate, she used it. Every foul turned into a headline, every rivalry became a ratings boost, every critic turned into a stepping stone. And now, as her story keeps unfolding, one question remains. If this is what the league looks like when everyone hates Caitlin Clark, imagine what happens when they have to respect her. If you're still watching, drop Clark Level 7 in the comments. And tell us, which level of hate do you think went too far? Hit subscribe for more deep dives into the drama, rivalries, and power plays shaping the WNBA.
Great to be here with you guys today. Kathy Engelbert is cooked. Well done. Put her in the air fryer and forgot about her. Put her in the oven and left her in 30 minutes too long. Kathy Engelbert is cooked. She's finished. If there is a league for 2026, Kathy Engelbert's not going to be in charge of that league.
Shocking. Referees caught red-handed taking bribes before the Indiana Fever versus Las Vegas Aces semifinal. Fans are furious, players are outraged, and the WNBA may never recover from this scandal.
Let's talk about what may be a real pivot point in the history of the WNBA, and I think what has transpired over the last 3 or 4 days may have gone a long way towards possibly helping Caitlin Clark in this league. Because the fact is, the WNBA, Kathy Engelbert, Adam Silver, the NBA, they weren't going to listen to Indiana Fever fans. They weren't going to listen to Caitlin Clark fans.
How did this even happen? And why does it feel like the game was rigged before the ball was even tipped? Let's break it down. From the moment this referee crew was announced, fans knew something was wrong. Isaac Barnett, Randy Richardson, and Jana were the exact same officials who botched the infamous Lynx versus Mercury game.
You know those really bad referees? You know those really bad referees from the Minnesota Lynx game against Phoenix Mercury? Not only have they been rewarded by getting another semifinal game, all three of them, not one, not two, but three, the same exact crew are refereeing the Indiana Fever tonight. Less than 48 hours later, because this is an afternoon game.
That disaster left Nafessa Collier limping off the court, Cheryl Reeves suspended, and an entire fan base screaming corruption. And instead of accountability, the WNBA doubled down and handed the same 3 referees Caitlin Clark's biggest playoff test yet. That's not just reckless, it's malpractice. Fans didn't hold back. Social media exploded with the word corruption. One clip shows Cheryl Reeves saying it plain and simple. The officiating crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem those 3 people semifinal playoff worthy, is malpractice.
And this is the look that our league wants for some reason.
we were trying to play through it. We tried not to make excuses. One of the best players in the league shot 0 free throws. 0. And she had 5 fouls. 0 free throws. Got her shoulder pulled out and finished the game with her leg being taken out and probably has a fracture. And so if this is what our league wants, okay. But I want to call for a change of leadership at the league level when it comes to officiating. It's bad for the game. The officiating crew that we had tonight, for the leadership to deem those 3 people semifinals playoff worthy is malpractice.
That's a head coach calling out the league's leadership on live television. And what was her reward? Suspension, fines, punishment for telling the truth.
The news just came out that Coach Cheryl Reeve was fined $15,000 for her comments made about the referees, and Coach Becky Hammond and Coach Steph White were both fined $1,000 for pretty much standing up for Coach Cheryl Reeve and saying that some of her points were valid. So it truly seems like Kathy is cracking down on this referee talk.
This isn't paranoia. It's a pattern. In that Lynx Mercury game, Alyssa Thomas hacked Collier over and over. 0 whistles. When Reeve demanded accountability, she was silenced.
But last night, Nafisi Collier got injured by Alyssa Thomas. Now, the irony in all this, Becky Hammond calling out the physicality in the league, Cheryl Reeve losing her ever-loving, and we'll look at that. I don't blame her. I'd have lost my mind too.
Now those same refs are in charge of the Fever Aces matchup, the one series that was supposed to showcase the league's biggest stars. Instead of Clark versus Wilson, Boston versus Wilson, and Mitchell against Young, the storyline is referees and bribes.
But anyway, yeah, WNBA assigned to 3 officials it's awful. It's a bad look on the league. And I mean, I think we have even more, I'm not going to say like proof, but I think there is now a situation where it's not out of realm possibility with this blatant, like something this bad, it's not out of realm possibility that Kathy's sabotaging this league.
Look at the numbers. In the Mercury game, Minnesota had a 10 rebound advantage and still lost. Why? Because the refs swallowed their whistles every time Phoenix got physical. Alyssa Thomas stripped Collier across the body, clear contact, and somehow it was called clean. Collier limped off, fans saw it, and officials just walked away. Now those exact same officials are responsible for Clark and Boston's health in the postseason. Fans aren't imagining things. They know exactly what's happening. And here's where the outrage explodes. Kelsey Mitchell drives into contact all season and gets nothing. Meanwhile, Jackie Young breathes near the rim and gets free throws. Aaliyah Boston gets elbowed in the paint, called for fouls herself, while Aja Wilson bulldozes defenders untouched. And then there's Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest draw. She's been shoved, tripped, elbowed, even body-checked like it's hockey. 0 protection. Fans don't just see it, they document it. They post clips, they tag the league, and every time the referees look the other way. One fan summed it up. The WNBA says they want to grow the game, then assigns the most hated refs to the biggest matchup. That's not growth. That's self-sabotage.
You cannot say anything about the referees, which I actually think is ironic. Why wouldn't they spend more time investing in the referees and trying to get them better instead of cracking down so hard on anybody saying anything about them? It's wild.
But the corruption goes deeper. The Aces are the league's golden child. Vegas is the money market. The glitz, the ownership, the star power. The league wants them in the finals. Everyone knows it. So when the same crew that already saved Vegas with swallowed whistles is assigned again, it doesn't look like coincidence. It looks like favoritism. And favoritism destroys trust. Think about the consequences. If the Fever lose on phantom fouls or no calls, fans won't forgive it. Every whistle will be scrutinized. Every time Clark gets hit and no call, fans scream conspiracy. Every time Wilson gets a soft whistle, outrage explodes. And that's the toxic environment the WNBA created. Let's talk specifics. Isaac Barnett is notorious for handing out quick technicals. If Clark claps her hands after a missed call, tech. If Stephanie White protests too strongly, tech. Meanwhile, Wilson bulldozes Boston in the post. No whistle. Randy Richardson is chaos incarnate. One possession he calls touch fouls, the next it's WWE wrestling. No rhythm, no consistency. And Jana, fans literally call her invisible, disappearing when games get physical. That's the crew managing the semifinals. This isn't just incompetence, it feels like corruption. Because when the same referees keep appearing in the biggest games, making the same mistakes, punishing the same players, protecting the same stars, fans stop believing. And once fans stop believing, they stop watching. Sponsors stop paying. And the league's credibility evaporates. The Fever fought all season to make it here. Boston carried the paint. Mitchell played through fire. Lexi Hull battled through injury. And Clark sold out arenas every night. The reward, being thrown in front of the same refs who already embarrassed the sport. That's why fans are saying it feels like a setup. That's why words like bribery and rigged are trending. Because the WNBA had a chance to showcase greatness, and instead, the refs stole the spotlight. Cheryl Reeve warned everyone, when you let the physicality happen, people get hurt. There are fights. And this is the look our league wants.
How dangerous it can be. You're hearing it from the other series. You're hearing other coaches. You're hearing Becky talk about when you let the physicality happen, people get hurt. There's fights. And this is the look that our league wants for some reason.
That's not an outsider talking. That's one of the most respected coaches in women's basketball. She called it dangerous. She called it malpractice, and for speaking the truth, she was punished. That tells fans everything they need to know. The betrayal is staggering. The WNBA has spent the entire season running commercials begging fans to embrace the next generation. Clark, Boston, Reese, the rookies driving record ratings. And when the playoffs arrive, what does the league do? Assigns the very refs fans despise. Instead of showcasing competition, they showcase corruption. And the irony is brutal. Caitlin Clark is the league's cash cow. She sells jerseys, fills arenas, shatters TV ratings. She puts money directly into the league's pockets. Yet instead of protecting her, they've set her up to get hammered with no calls. That's not just incompetence, that's biting the hand that feeds you. Fans aren't stupid. They don't demand special treatment. They demand fairness. They want to see stars shine, not refs dictate outcomes. And right now, instead of talking strategy and matchups, fans are debating bribes and favoritism. Instead of hyping Clark versus Wilson, they're asking if the game was rigged before it started. And that's the core problem. Once fans believe the league is rigged, you've lost them. No marketing campaign can fix that. No highlight reel can erase it. Credibility is everything. Without it, every game feels tainted. The Fever versus Aces could have been the series of the year. Instead, the headline is referees caught taking bribes. And until the WNBA addresses this crisis, every whistle will be questioned, every foul debated, every outcome doubted. So what do you think? Is this pure incompetence, or was the game rigged from the start? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're still watching, drop Protect Caitlin so we know you're part of the real conversation.
It looked like Kelsey Mitchell has some things to say about her teammate Caitlin Clark and the current state of the WNBA. Tell you guys, Kelsey Mitchell made a big-time appearance on ESPN, and it has simply broken the damn internet. We seen the stellar performance Kelsey Mitchell had in her last bout going up against the Las Vegas Aces. And I've been telling y'all, bro, and I'm going to keep on saying it. Kelsey Mitchell came out that locker room with a belt full of spikes, and she put it over the booties of the Las Vegas Aces.
Kelsey Mitchell just shattered Asia Wilson's reputation and exposed what fans have been whispering for months, an anti-Caitlin Clark agenda at the heart of the WNBA.
So, lads, today we are going to be talking about the Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. Well, Kelsey Mitchell talking about Caitlin Clark. Look, Fever players are going to be asked about Caitlin Clark. Genuinely, like, every single time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're a Fever player, you're going to be asked about Caitlin Clark.
This wasn't just about one game. This was about power, favoritism, and a league on the edge of being flipped upside down. So here's the real question. Was this the night A'ja Wilson's dynasty collapsed and the moment Indiana Fever seized control of the league's future? Let's start with the chaos that unfolded on the court. The Indiana Fever walked into Las Vegas as massive underdogs. They were shorthanded, missing 6 players, including Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. The Aces had their MVP polished up, their arena ready for a coronation. Everyone expected Indiana to roll over, but instead, the game turned into a masterclass in grit and exposure.
I mean, she laid them over her lap and got the spanking them. I mean, my goodness. The Las Vegas Aces looked like a shell of themselves playing up against Kelsey Mitchell, man. She played 34 minutes and had 34 points. Y'all do understand. I know I've been saying this a lot. She was scoring a bucket every 60 damn seconds she was in the game.
From the opening tip, the officiating was a disaster. Missed calls piled up. Lexi Hull was shoved, elbowed, and even tripped on illegal screens that looked more like WWE moves than basketball.
I mean, it feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more this series so far. But we just keep getting back up, so that's all you can really say.
And yet, the whistles stayed silent. Then came the moment that summed it all up. Kelsey Mitchell drives hard, absorbs clear contact from A'ja Wilson, finishes the bucket. And instead of getting the free throw she deserved, the refs slapped her with a technical foul. Even Vegas fans couldn't believe it. This wasn't officiating. It was theater, and it was obvious who the refs wanted on top. But here's the thing. Indiana didn't blink. They didn't fold. They responded by tightening up their defense, executing cleanly, and punishing Vegas every single time the Aces lost focus.
Mitchell teardrops one in.
As Wilson on her gets fire and lays it in left side.
And Sims, they gave her just that space and she took it.
Sims at the foul line lets it fly again and hits it again.
Honestly, Sims is feeling it.
Kelsey Mitchell wasn't rattled. She was relentless. By the final buzzer, she had 34 points, silencing the Vegas crowd and turning what was supposed to be a coronation into humiliation. A'ja Wilson, she shot a brutal 6 for 22.
There's the A'ja Wilson. We all know.
On her MVP night, the supposed face of the league couldn't buy a bucket without a bailout whistle. And then came the words that set the WNBA on fire. Post-game, Kelsey Mitchell didn't rant. She didn't cry. She calmly laid it out. She called out the inconsistencies. She pointed to the favoritism. And she made it clear that Indiana wasn't just surviving. They were here to compete. Her comments carried weight because she had just done what no one expected. She embarrassed A'ja Wilson on her home court. On the biggest night of her season, Mitchell's statement wasn't just about a bad game. It was a direct shot at the WNBA's golden child and the system that protects her. Becky Hammon tried to spin it in her presser, blaming missed layups. But the truth was undeniable. Indiana outplayed Vegas in every single phase. And that's when Mitchell went even further, straight into the heart of the controversy swirling all year. Caitlin Clark. After months of polished interviews, Mitchell finally broke her silence. And what she said left the entire league stunned. Clark has changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball, Mitchell declared.
I think it was just like a match made in heaven, really, because I was, still at a young age to really, vibe and get to know these players for who they were. And then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever, and you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her because she's accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make, what it is now.
Think about the gravity of that statement. This is a veteran who spent years carrying Indiana through irrelevance, grinding through 5 coaches in 8 years, losing seasons so bad the team was treated like a free win. If anyone had a reason to be bitter about Clark stealing the spotlight, it was Kelsey Mitchell. But instead of jealousy, she gave respect. Pure, authentic respect. She called Caitlin a teammate, a friend, and even admitted that without Clark, doors would have never opened for the Fever. Compare that to A'ja Wilson and Cheryl Swoops, who've spent the season throwing shade, dismissing Clark's impact, and feeding into the resentment. Mitchell flipped the narrative. She showed what true leadership looks like, recognizing a generational star without diminishing herself. Mitchell reminded everyone that before Caitlin, she was the one keeping Indiana alive. She laid the foundation, she carried the weight. And now, alongside Clark, Boston, and Hull, she's ready to turn that survival into a dynasty. And she made it clear, she's all in. At one point, she even hinted she'd take a pay cut to keep this core together. That's not just loyalty, that's a revolution. So here's the climax. The WNBA has been exposed. A'ja Wilson, the two-time MVP, looked helpless without whistles to save her. The Aces, the so-called dynasty, collapsed under pressure. And the referees, supposed to be invisible, became the story of the night. But Kelsey Mitchell, she turned it into her stage. Her performance and her words didn't just end A'ja Wilson's MVP night, they may have ended her aura of invincibility altogether. At the same time, Mitchell shined a light on the elephant in the room, the league's fear of Caitlin Clark. The agenda to hold her back, to downplay her impact, can't be hidden anymore. Because when Clark's teammates are calling it out, the whole world takes notice.
What has it been like? Because certainly the world has been focused on her, but what has it been like as a teammate? Because sometimes people are stepping to her, but I feel like you guys are stepping right back in those situations.
I think it's just it's competitive nature, man. You know how it goes. It's just competitive nature. I think that we want to fight to, love on our team and be who we are and respect the game at the same time. So I think it's a lot of just competitive nature at the end of the day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And look, you guys have been plagued with injuries, including to Caitlin.
Yeah.
But you have the best sideline in the league, I feel like, right now. What does it mean to get that support during the postseason from the crew?
Oh, man, it's unbelievable. And I think the best part about it is that we have vet experience when it comes to Sydney Carlson, and she's a winner and she's a champion. And then you have people like Caitlin, who's a PG and can pass the ball. And so when I come on the sideline, I get feedback from some of the best players in the league. And so I don't take those moments for granted either, because I feel like it's a chance to see the game in a different route, and I get to get to talk to them from a level of just them having confidence in me to make plays. So I love it. It's a good experience to have.
This wasn't just a playoff upset. This was a shift in power. Mitchell destroyed the myth that Vegas is untouchable. She elevated Caitlin Clark's legacy while exposing the league's bias. And she reminded everyone that Indiana Fever isn't just Clark's team. It's a unit built on resilience, loyalty, and belief. The Aces thought this would be easy. Instead, they walked into their own house and got embarrassed by the 6th seed they laughed off. A'ja Wilson's legacy now has an asterisk, not because of her talent, but because of the cracks Mitchell forced the world to see. And the biggest truth of all, the WNBA can't stop what's coming. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and the Indiana Fever are rewriting history, one scandal and one statement at a time. So what do you think? Did Kelsey Mitchell just end A'ja Wilson's legacy and prove the anti-Clark agenda is real? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you're riding with the Fever, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what happens next.